we want to talk about Mexico. So we love to go to Mexico, the United States, Justin Trudeau, Canada, President Biden love to go to Mexico and tell them what to do and how to run their country. The World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab and the plans for remaking North America, it's all coming together. All of this sort of borderless society is exactly what they want. And now we're getting to see President Biden in Mexico sort of carrying out a lot of these wishes. And also being thanked by the Mexican president.
Well, we've seen what U.S. goals are in Mexico. For instance, litigating about not being able to put gas stations and petrol infrastructure inside Mexico because Mexico decided it wanted to be more autonomous. The United States litigated that.
Right. So, no, you can't.
We know exactly what they want from them when it comes to factories. We know a lot of U.S. factories are, in fact, moved to Mexico. We just reported on one, which was Jeep, I believe, was moving from, was it Illinois or Indiana? One of those. I'm sorry, it escapes me at the moment. We know that we like the idea of U.S. companies benefiting from cheap labor. We also want to sort of put our carbon credits, save them for ourselves and put that on them. Those are things that, like, we've seen politicians talking about. But the problem, the sticking point here is all those immigrants coming across the border that's kind of getting in the way of this negotiation.
Yeah.
And so in this meeting, just over the last 48 hours, North American leaders, including Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, thanked President Biden for not building the wall between the two countries. Watch.
You, President Biden, you are the first president of the United States in a very long time that has not built not even 1 meter of wall. And that, we thank you for that, sir.
So you haven't done anything, keeping the border wide open. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, you know that in Latin languages you speak in double negatives.
Right.
We thank you for not doing this. That's right. So maybe that is a little bit lost in translation, but it doesn't really explain Mexico's position on this. We assume it means that he wants people to be able to get past that border without obstacle.
Yeah.
Is that how you take it?
Well, the way I take it is absolutely. We showed you the video a few weeks ago of Mexican police in a, what would you call it? A motorcade? Motorcade, yeah. Motorcade. The Mexican police leading buses to the border, right to the United States. Because what you have to realize is most of the illegal immigrants coming to the United States, they're not Mexican. They are Guatemalan. They are Honduran. They're coming up through Mexico. So if our border is tight and secure, where do they wind up? They wind up at the wall. They stop. And then, well, now we're in Mexico.
So the idea is that Mexico cannot meet these demands that its, second and third floor neighbors want from them, which is, we're going to talk later about a semiconductor industry, more green carbon credits, all kinds of things like that. If it continues to receive an inflow of immigrants from Central America, South America, and the Caribbean. And so they want that border to be porous so that anyone moving through there can just keep on going because they don't want to obviously use their resources. He addressed this in a lengthy response to a question about immigration. I'm going to play you a little bit of it. He just goes on and on and on. It's funny because President Biden and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau are kind of shuffling their feet. It's like they don't know what to do when someone just keeps talking. They're used to doing the droning on. So I'll play it for you. And then, boys, you guys tell me when you just can't take it anymore. Okay?
We did speak about migration in a very broad manner.
Okay, that was good enough.
Well, and can I point out, too, that the Intercept, so take this with a grain of salt. The Intercept did an article in September saying that Biden did restart construction on the wall. So
I also wondered about that.
There's some conflicting reports about, like, well, what is it new under Biden, or is it like stuff that had nothing to do with Biden and it was under Trump and it was just continuing because it was allocated funds and it was already going. Right. So yeah, there's some confusion as to, like, well, whose wall portion is this? But who knows? But no, I'm sorry. Let's play a little bit more of this.
Of course, there is cooperation with the U.S. administration, and at the same time, we have the commitment to protect migrants. What President Biden has proposed
Look at Biden and Trudeau look like statues.
True. If migrants cross our country, and in some cases they also go through other countries in Latin America to arrive in the United States, migrants are facing so many risks when they do that.
That's an interesting thing to say because, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and Trudeau is standing there thinking like, God, I'm so lucky that my country is so far to the north and freezing.
Yeah.
And we've become so authoritarian in Canada that no one wants to come all the way up here. They make it through Mexico, they're tired. They get to Texas, they're tired. And then they just stay there. Thank God they don't keep going all the way to our country.
Right. I mean, he's saying if they're crossing through Mexico to get to the United States, that's really dangerous. Sort of an admission that Mexico is a dangerous place, which I can speak to because my sister just moved from there for that reason.
Yeah, it's brutal right now. And of course, the cartel violence is out of control. Just look what's been happening over the past 10 days. The full-on civil war there between the cartels. And it's lawlessness. So, of course, he doesn't want an additional round of immigrants in his country coming from Nicaragua and Honduras and Guatemala. Yes, he wants them to go into the United States. And what's amazing is that the United States, and he's praising President Biden for like his open border policy, basically.
Which it's not, though. The Biden administration is having sort of split personality about this because in this meeting, the president said that he does want to expand access to the United States to immigrants. He wants more of them. He just doesn't want them in the way they're coming now. Here's the quote. He says, people have had to make it through jungles, the long journey to the border. Many are victimized, not only in terms of what they have to pay, but victimized physically in other ways. We're trying to make it easier for people to get here, opening up the capacity to get here, but not have them go through that god-awful process. So you think about it, the Biden administration is defending their right to repeal Title 42. Title 42 means that immigrants will be sent back if they come at the border. He wants that to end. The Supreme Court did not let him end it. So he's fighting the courts on this while he put it back in place himself. Those are two conflicting moves. And he's saying, well, we have to do this until we figure out how to let them come in like a smooth manner.
Similar to what they've done with Ukraine. So that's exactly what they've done with Ukrainian refugees, which is like, we're going to make it super simple. We're going to set up all of these nice offices so that Ukrainian refugees can come through and be transferred and processed and brought right into the United States. Oh, but if you're from other parts, if you're from Haiti or other parts of the, other parts of the world, you're going to be stuck and not to be able to come through, or you'll be in really awful conditions and processing to get your visa appointments and so forth. So they know how, if they want to make it smooth sailing, smooth criminal, they can do it for certain people, just not for others.
Yeah, what were you going to say, David?
I'm saying I'm not an expert or a politician, so I'm going to put that out there first. But I have an idea that I think might stop all of this in the first place, and that is maybe if we stop bombing people and putting sanctions on other countries, they'd stop having to come here.
Yes.
Stop it with your common sense.
Now, we've been talking about this.
That's almost like saying...
Go ahead, Phil.
I was going to say, that's almost like saying if we destabilize a government and like stage a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, that there will be repercussions.
Yes, imagine that. Imagine that. I mean, we did a whole segment back in November here on the show about Nicaragua, specifically about Nicaragua, and how because we've destabilized that country, that's why they're coming. So they don't have a country anymore because the United States effed it up. So you're looking for all of these like Band-Aid solutions to the problem when, and to David's point, maybe if you stop bombing their countries or destabilizing their governments, they would have a government and a country that they wouldn't want to leave. Nicaraguans, I heard from so many Nicaraguans after we did that story. They were like, thank you for saying this. We do not want to leave our country, but we have no choice. We have nothing. We are in absolute despair, so we have to leave because it's destroyed.
Right.
Thanks to the West.
Put yourself in their shoes and think about this. Like, think about how hard it would be, any of us here sitting in our houses right now, to make a decision that we have to leave because things are so bad that we cannot survive.
Yeah. You have no electricity. You have no jobs. They've taken away, everything is so expensive. The money is now worthless. Your money,
and you have kids who you can't feed. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
So if you knew you could go somewhere where you could get help to feed your family, and that's what we've done to these countries. We've destabilized these countries, so it's on us.
Yeah. Now, the internet...
There's nothing...
yes.
Sorry. I was going to say, there's nothing about that journey coming from Nicaragua through Mexico to the United States that people want to do it. That's just the thing you have to keep in mind is like, it's not like people are just like, hey, I'm going to go there and have a better life, so I'm going to go through this. It's like they have no choice.
Not like they're Mount Everest.
It's desperation.
Yeah. Life's an adventure. Let's go battle some coyotes.
Like they're doing it for fun. Like, hey, we're going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro so I can prove to myself, or I'm going to do an Ironman so I can prove my own self-worth from doing all of these special runs and these marathons.
Or like the Camino de Compostela. Like, that's not this.
No.
This is not a soul journey. You're right. One other thing about this group of leader, which is that the internet is calling them the three amigos. I kind of like that. They agreed, among other things that they talked about, to build a semiconductor business together. They want North America to be more of a hub for semiconductors. So how do they do that? With my favorite political word, my favorite diplomatic word is summitry. We're going to have some summitry. We'll have some summits, a semiconductor forum with industry representatives, and we'll do it in early 2023. It was like yeah, let's do that, boys. And they're going to coordinate on figuring out how to get their semiconductor supply chain needs. Where do those materials get mined? Important question. No one thought to ask. One more thing worth noting, though, and I thought we'd play a little game. About this.
I love games.
Because these three dudes, let's put them back on the screen if we can. Their three respective countries are the hosts of the World Cup in 2026. And so I thought it might be kind of fun, because the next World Cup is North America, which I still don't understand how that's going to work. We have a map here of like where the games will be. There'll be no central location. It's just all throughout North America. I guess that's exciting. Yeah, I think it's kind of stupid, but okay. If any football fans see that this is a good idea. My brother-in-law is Mexican, and he's like, that's the stupidest thing ever. So how about a little sportsman-like bet? Which of these three amigos will still be head of state in 2026? Trudeau is a maybe because he can run for re-election in 2025 when his term is up. Mm-hmm. We don't know if he will, and would he even win? We hear from a lot of Canadians that do not like him.
Yes.
But sure, plenty do, maybe. I don't know. They don't write to us if they do. Okay, Biden most likely will run in 2024. Will he make it to 2026?
No.
I mean...
No, I don't think. I think he will be so far. I mean, his dementia, all you need to do is look back 2 years to look at Biden speaking and compare it to 2 years hence.
He could not make it through a debate stage. You have to water him to keep him alert these days.
There's no way.
Right.
But hey, I mean, look, Fetterman won. So, if the deep state wants him, I'm not saying he won't win. Like I'm saying the deep state will probably push him to be the candidate, will push him to be.
And then just the odds of biology are against him for 2026, for 2 years into this next term. And López Obrador, he's out. Because Mexico has a 6-year term limit. He cannot run again. His term limit actually ends in 2024. 2024, yes.
So it'll be
it's between Trudeau and Biden. Will any of them make it as head of state for the World Cup 2026? Put your bets in now.
They're saying no way. There's no way. So yeah, let us know. Well, who will survive? Will it be Trudeau? Will it be Biden? It won't be Obrador.
Let's take it to a kickoff. Who would win?
It'll just be a bag of skin in Washington, D.C. I mean, that's really what we're heading towards. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at Redacted.inc. That's our private locals community community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.